to the Lighten Up podcast with Lauren Polly, your invitation for living on the lighter side of life. I'm Lauren Polly, and I am delighted you have chosen to join me today for episode 181. We're going to talk today about control and our weird ways that we do it. From what I see so often, there is kind of this really extreme bouncing back and forth. Either we go into control freak of magnitude, where we are behind the driver's seat calling all the shots. We maybe will let somebody sit in the passenger seat, but heaven forbid they give us any direction or advice or participate in the journey whatsoever. The other extreme you may notice is when you take the back seat continuously, where you aren't anywhere near steering the ship or making any kind of conscious choice in where the car is going. You are just in the back along for the ride. What I want to talk about today is how to marry the two, and a really fun kind of visual and example that I received this last week that changed a lot of this for me, so that we can actually step into creation in a way where we're leading our life. We are directing our life in a way where we want to go, and at the same time receiving contribution, help, and assistance along the way. Because I think the biggest thing with this control conversation is how often we overtake all contribution that wants to come in. We don't want to include other people. We don't want to give up control to them. We're afraid of X, Y, and Z occurring if we do. And how those of us sometimes will try to fix it, quote unquote, or try to go into receiving in a very strange way and totally laying down flat, going in the back seat and being like, you just drive and I'm out of the equation altogether. There's actually a middle ground here that works beautifully and may actually balance this control thing if you're dealing with it. Whether you are the aggressive type that wants to be behind the driver wheel and will not receive any contribution from anybody else, or whether you are the opposite, you're kind of the wallflower, the one that gets walked over all the time, and have a really hard time including yourself in the equation of your life, in your life choices, and actually allowing yourself to lead the show, so to speak. This may actually lead to greater for either one of those places you may be functioning from. So I was chatting with one of my business coaches last week, and I was kind of flipping back and forth between those very dynamically different energies that you just heard me describe, the pushing yourself to the driver's seat or the laying back in the back seat and not being involved at all. And she just gave me this amazing visual. She said, "Hey, Lauren, what if you actually looked at it from this vantage point? What if you looked at it as being in a limousine, having a driver, but actually at the same time you telling the driver where you're headed? So the person in the limo, the person being driven, isn't just willy-nilly along for the ride with no say on where they're going. Absolutely not. They are actually in control, quote unquote, in the driver's seat, in the creator role of saying, this is where we're going. This is where I'm headed. Thank you." And at the same time, they are allowing themselves to submit to the driver in the front seat. They are not micromanaging that we're going left here and right there. You have to be in this lane. You have to go faster. You have to go slower. They're not micromanaging the directionality in that way. They're allowing the driver to contribute. They're allowing themselves to receive support. There's kind of a beautiful doting on energy where you get to be in the creator role of this is where we're going, and at the same time relax a little bit on the path and the journey there. I love that example. I love it. I love it. And I'm hoping that it will spark stuff for you as well as you listen. Chances are you probably don't go to one extreme and stay there. You may have a favorite, either like always always wanting to be in the driver's seat or always laying flat in the back seat. Some of you may notice how you volley back and forth between the two. I'd say that's where I function from a lot of, oh, in my younger years, I was always the backseat person where I wanted to have a say in how my life would go, but I didn't really feel empowered to do so. And then somehow how we try to fix that is we try to go, oh no, now I'm taking the wheel. And before you know it, you're fixing laying in the back seat in favor of over controlling, of micromanaging, and in the process, cutting down the contribution and the receiving that you could be enjoying and creating with from other people. It's kind of a fascinating thing, and a lot of us are taught to fix that. We're thinking, okay, well, if I haven't been empowered thus far, then I really need to take the power and take the reins, so to speak, and force myself into the driver's seat. I just noticed with my own pattern in my past when I've done that, how much contribution and receiving energy I've actually cut out. Also, how much tension and stress has been created. If you are trying to battle your way into the driver's seat, if are the control freak and trying to be the only one in charge and micromanaging not only the people in your life, but trying to micromanage the circumstances in your life, trying to control to a specific outcome, trying to control it to a certain timeline, trying to make everybody bend to your will. That's always a fun one. I'm sure you may notice that as well. If you are doing that, being able to really take stock of how much body tension may be there, how much stress may be there, and how tightly you have to hold on to every little thing. It doesn't allow you ever to relax, to let go, and to have this beautiful submission to a grander picture, to more contribution, and to kind of a greater path, a greater journey than you in your own small eyes may have for yourself. So it's a fascinating thing to look at where you have gone from disempowered to into control freak, thinking that is the way to actually lead your life. And what you can maybe create now by taking this limousine example, allowing yourself to be in the back seat, still leading, still going, this is where we're going, and knowing that no matter what, you're directing where the car is headed, but allowing other people to drive, allowing other people to contribute, allowing yourself to relax and submit and be carried and supported along the way. That's a totally different energy to function from. Whether you were born a control freak and you have been born behind the wheel micromanaging from day one without ever realizing what that created, or whether you're the other person I described who's always felt disempowered or who felt swept away by life and like they had to really assert themselves or insert themselves into the picture. And by doing so, you've created this control freak, this tight grip on the steering wheel, this shh, don't tell me what to do or where to go. I invite you to look deeper about what it would be like to allow yourself to submit a bit, to relax, and to take a back seat, but not in a back seat way where you have absolutely no say where your life is going. You actually have complete control while seemingly having no control at the same time. It is a fascinating juxtaposition with the energy. It's a fascinating balance or flip flop or out of the ordinary that may bring a lot of stuff up for you. How you can not be in control and be in control at the same time. How you can give over the day-to-day work to other people and maybe empower them, maybe delegate some of your tasks, maybe hire some people so you don't have to overwork yourself, and perhaps allowing yourself to submit to people who may know better than you in certain areas, to allow whatever you're creating to take off and run smoother, grow greater, and allow yourself to receive in the process. When you are trying to be the lone wolf, the person behind the steering wheel, and shutting everybody out along the way, your creation, your life creation, isn't going to be as great as it possibly can. It's when you're willing and able to include others, to empower others, and to co create with them, that's actually growing a bigger life. And that's allowing whatever it is you're creating business, creative pursuits, relationships, a family who knows what that is to actually grow into greater. Being able to play with this and allow yourself maybe even just to have that visual. Like me, I changed my screensaver on my phone to remind me of this. A beautiful picture of a woman who's totally relaxed and blissed out in the back of a limo. And to really look at the energy of that, of having a complete 100% say in where your creation and your life is going, allowing other people to be part of the journey, and even going so far as to hire somebody to carry you there, to guide you there a little bit, to receive all of that at the same time, and what that can create for you in your life's path. It's a very different energy that a lot of us are kind of foreign to. We only know the tight grip on the steering wheel or the disempowered kid in the back seat with no say whatsoever. What middle ground, what balance and play can you actually create with this really fun example? And how can you invite this in different aspects of your life? Get practical with it. Perhaps it is time to hire somebody to help you on your business. Perhaps it's something where you can submit to your partner and kind of go, you know what, you're actually better at this than I am. You can lead for a while. I'm still going to have a say in where we're going, but yeah, you take the reins for a little bit. Allowing yourself at work to actually delegate and not worry about every little detail, or projecting yourself into the future and trying to control the outcome or avoid every possible mishap. A lot of us go into hyper control and over control with that. This example, this really fun play, may actually take the stress, the tension, and the tight grip away so that you can relax a bit, receive more, play with it in a light way while actually feeling empowered and included along the path. Have fun breaking this down for yourself and playing, playing, playing. This is a light one, this is a light touch, and this is an experiment one big time. Don't take it too seriously. Don't freak yourself out too much by handing over too much control. Do it as you see fit, as what's light, as what's fun, and what creates more for you. But allow this invitation to actually allow yourself to be in control without having control, and what that can actually create in the grander scheme of things for you. I'm super curious as I play with it in my own space, what will be created and what can be created with it in your own world. Reach out to me, let me know how it goes. Again, you can find me at laurenpolly.com or in my Lighten Up community where we can play a little bit deeper with this topic and these tools. Have an amazing week, and as always, I will chat with you next Tuesday.